Well, the weekend is drawing to a close, so today we're just going to be doing two reviews. Now, as you know, we continue with more of the Stardom 5-star Grand Prix. We're getting closer to the conclusion. However, certain things are very crucial when it comes to 5-star Grand Prix. We'll just find out. And of course, our next review will be New Japan Pro Wrestling Destruction in Kobe. We do have, of course, the KOPW title on the line. Will Taichi finally get his belt back after being stolen from that Weasel show? Or will it be, of course, Show and the House of Torture with their torture methods in order to get what they want? Well, we'll find out. Even the IWGP tag team titles are on the line. We even have a special match between Shingo and Great Khan. And then, of course, the number one contendership for the IWGP World Heavyweight title between Tetsuya Naito and Jeff Cobb. But our main event features the IWGP US/UK title is on the line. As you know, Yota Tsuji has been making a much bigger impact against the wrestler who has now been in the last 2 months defeating the best wrestlers that the world has to offer. Will Tsuji become that guy to dethrone Will Ospreay? Well, we'll find out soon enough. And of course, we have a little small news updates to tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we review a lot of pro wrestling shows, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world, especially countries that don't have big that wrestling is not a big but is growing. We also do some discussion videos. We do have some news update alerts. We have some Unagi Sayaka watches videos. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. The subscribe button will be doing daily reviews when every single day, and of course certain times we'll do those other videos we do. But if you like this episode, please click on the like button and of course leave us a nice comment in the bottom. So let's begin with our first review with Stardom. We continue with more of the 5-star Grand Prix. As we talked before, we're getting closer and closer to the conclusion of this tour and of course this tournament. And this particular day took place on the 20th of September in Osaka. Now, our opening match is a 4-way match. We have Yuna Mizumori versus Ami Suri versus Saki Kashima versus the current white belt champion Mirai. However, if you guys pay attention to everything, you may notice something odd about this match. 3 out of the 4 are part of the same unit. Ami Suri, Saki Kashima, and Mirai are in fact part of God's Eye. So that means Yuna is on her own. Basically, she has no allies. But, however, you ask yourself, how is this one going to play out? Well, only the strong will survive. But I do know this Kashima, she's a bit of a sneaky wrestler that knows how to find good openings. But, however, that wasn't the case because in the end, it was Mirai with a lariat onto Mizumori to pick up the win. So, everything went as well. Now, our next match, we have, of course, Hanako teaming up with the members of Club Venus, Waka Tsukiyama, Mina Shirakawa. They take on Stars, consisting of Saya Ida, Hanan, and Mayu Iwatani. Now, you probably can guess that the X factor of this match is Hanako, who has the least experience in the promotion. That's always played out as a very good way to continue on. However, in this case, it was Mayu Iwatani who picked up the win by applying a moonsault onto her, and just like that, it was completely over. Now, our next match, we had our last non 5-star Grand Prix match is a very interesting one. We have Oedo Tai, consisting of Ruka, Momo Watanabe, and Natsuko Tora. They take on Mei Seita, Zuzu Suzuki, and Mega Bane. So I thought it was a very interesting match. Now, I was hoping that these idiots, more specifically Momo and Natsuko, would definitely use the weapons on Megan Bane. Sadly, they did not. Maybe they must have thought in their righteous mind, maybe it will have no effect on them since she is a Megasis after all. But however, of course, I had a feeling that this match was going to go to Megan along with her tag partners because she applied a choke slam onto Ruka to pick up the win. So if I'm Odatai, don't mess around with her. So that's the last thing you need. Now, let's get started with our last 3 matches involving the 5-star Grand Prix. But the next 2 are part of the Blue Stars block. First one, we have Mariah May taking on Micah. Now, many people have often talked about how Mariah May is a rising star in Stardom, but however, I do have that presumptuous to believe that Micah could win the 5-star Grand Prix. That's always been obvious to me. However, it kind of did win that one. I mean, it was much of a power fight that you probably would expect. So it ended with Micah applying a Michinoku driver. So she walks out with 9 points, while Mariah stays in 6th. Now, our next match, this is one of the fastest matches ever. Azumi versus Julia. This ended right away in 55 seconds when Azumi applied the Azumi Sushi, just like that. But Julia is livid. She could not even believe it, or cannot, how do I say, cannot succumb to the reality that she has lost to a high speedster in that fast. Even Azumi, who is taking great pleasure that she defeated Julia in 55 seconds. However, there is an X factor. There is a positive thing about this with Azumi. Now, Azumi, as you know, pinned the New Japan Strong Women's Champion. So Azumi could potentially challenge for the belt. Now, of course, she is one of the most rising stars and strongest wrestlers we've seen so far. So, in a way, she could walk away from this. But Azumi walks away with 8 points for this one, as Julia, she stays in 9. But however, apparently in post-match, while Julia was planning to leave the entire thing, she was surprised by a very unexpected guest, and that guest is none other than God's Eye's very own Ami Suri. So the real question is, what is she doing? So it turns out that Ami Suri issued a challenge for the New Japan Strong Women's title. Now, Julia declined to give her that opportunity, but she did brought up an excellent point. How come you're denying me while you give Momo Kogo the opportunity? So basically, it was simple. You're saying you're not giving me an opportunity, but yet you gave Momo Kogo, who is the weakest of the bunch, an opportunity. So basically, it got into her head. But keep in mind, Julia overlooked another statue. Ami Suri was, in fact, the future champion, the goddesses' tag team titles. So basically, she overlooked that. So she will have that opportunity. But keep in mind, I don't know when Julia will have that opportunity. We do know she is set to come here in October for the New Japan shows in Vegas. So we don't know yet about that. But we'll see when that day comes. Now, our main event, I have to say this one was a very important one. It's part of the Red Stars in the 5-star Grand Prix. We have Suri versus Tam Nakano. Now, this is one of those matches that played an important storyline on this one. If you guys remember the 5-star Grand Prix last year, or just plain general last year of 2022, Tam Nakano challenged Suri for the red belt when Suri was still the champion. but at the time, not Tam was unsuccessful to defeat Sudi, and then she tried again, but this time she challenged her in the main event in Corkin Hall at the Fives, unsuccessful. But the obvious question does tell: will history repeat itself, or will Tam Nakano, in fact, will be able to finally beat one of the strongest competitors in Stardom? Well, the obvious question to that is, of course, she did when she applied the violet screwdriver, giving her the win. And I'm sure that Sudi was feeling a bit happy for her that she finally did exactly what she was going to do. You know, Tam always cried her life out knowing that she couldn't beat the strongest competitors, but now she finally can. So this is a good moment, and of course she walks away with 11 points. As for um, Sudi, she has 9. Now keep in mind, there is crucial moments from here on out. In this particular point, Tam is right behind Natsuko Tora. But however, Tam's last opponent that she has to face is none other than her best friend and teammate and tag partner, Natsupoi. So we'll see how that rolls out from there. So we do know her next match, she will be in a match against Yuna Mizumori. Sudi, I think she'll be facing someone, I forgot, I think Azuki, I think, but we'll get to that at some point. But right now, let's just end it right here and move on with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Okay, New Japan Pro Wrestling, The Extraction in Kobe. This is just a much recent show that they actually put out. It opened up with Kevin Knight teaming up with Tiger Mask to take on Bullet Club War Dogs, the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Champions, Drilla Maloney, and of course Clark Connors. Now, originally we were supposed to see, of course, um, Kushida and Kevin Knight, but it seems that match must be postponed at the moment. As you know, Kushida has been here in the States mostly, but eventually that will be coming to pass. But however, the match had a feeling that this was going to go in favor of course, Maloney and Connors when they applied the clip and onto Tiger Mask to end it. But however, they decided not to leave any notes turns unstone, both Connors and Maloney onto Kevin Knight. So I'm sure they will be prepared the next time Kushida comes and Kevin Knight will teaming up with him. Next match, we have a bit of a preview before we get to the KOPW Championship. We have, of course, the members of House of Torture, consistent of Yujiro Takahashi, Dick Togo, and Evil, taking on just 5 guys: Doiki, Taka, Michinoku, and Sanada. Now keep in mind, Sanada will do whatever it takes to get his belt back, but at the moment he has to focus to ensure that Taichi gets his belt back first before anything else. Now you probably can think there will be some dirty tricks made in this one, but unfortunately it did not. It was Taka Michinoku, to my surprise, that picked up the win. Now it's been a long time since I've seen him pick up a win. He applied the Michinoku driver onto Dick Togo and it was over right from there. However, Sanada was this close in getting back his belt. Evil, as you know, claiming himself to be the so-called real world IWGP World Champion, which is not. But yes. So we'll see what happens until then. Now, as you know, we have GOD, consisting of Yado, El Fantasmo, Ikuleo, Tangaloa, and Tamatanga, taking on the members of the Bullet Club, consistent of Ghetto, Alex Coughlin, Gabe Kidd, Chase Owens, and of course David Finlay. Now keep in mind, Hikuleo and El Fantasmo issued a challenge for the New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team titles. And as for Tama, he will challenge, of course, David Finlay. So you probably can guess this match is a full-on war between both groups. Now it seems as you guys may have been aware of, GOD, instead of becoming a tag team, now they become a full-blown unit. But they still have that hung-tie mentality that they now has been surfeit. But however, they will go great lengths to go to war against anybody that decides to start a war with them. But to my surprise, how this ended up, it was of course a gun stun by Tama to Ghetto to pick up the win. But you know that this war between both God and Bullet Club War Dogs is far from over until we see the championship matches between both teams will take place. Next up, we have Chaos consisting of Yo and Leo Rush taking on LIJ's Bushi and Hiromu Takahashi. Now, if you guys remember back in Multiverse United 2, for whom the bell tolls, Leo Rush issued the challenge towards Hiromu for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, which he failed to obtain the last time. But apparently, he will be stepping in a three-way match. But however, in this case, it was Leo Rush who picked up the win when he applied the final hour onto Bushi. But however, apparently Hiromu decided to play a little mind game of his own, saying, "Where's Mike Bailey?" So basically, he's trying to play little games with Leo Rush, but we'll see how that rolls up from there. Next up, we have TMDK. Bad Dude Tito teaming up with Zack Sabre Jr. Now, I cannot recall if they ever did team up, but if they did, please give me a comment down below so I can remind myself, because I watch a lot of pro wrestling and I tend to forget certain matches that I may not noticed. They face against 2/3 of the Never Openweight 6-man tag team champions. We're talking about Kazuchika Okada and Tomohiro Ishii. Now, we have seen Ishii and Zack Sabre Jr. go back and forth with each other on certain occasions. But you probably would have thought this would be a good, important moment, because if somehow by any means necessary TMDK defeats the members of Chaos, most specifically just these two, they probably could get a shot of the Never Openweight 6-man tag team titles, which of course Zack Sabre Jr. did when he pinned Ishii with the bridge. So the obvious question is, will he cash it in? We'll see what happens, because we know he is gunning for the IWGP US/UK title. So we'll see how that rolls up. Now, our first championship match, we have the KOPW title on the line. However, all seconds from both sides, from just five guys and House of Torture, are handcuffed to each other to ensure no interference. Now, keep in mind, the House of Torture will do whatever it takes to get what they want, even if they have to cut the corners to do that. However, this was a very genius idea. However, it was not infected, because apparently when the ref was out, we did not see what was coming next. We first thought Kanemaru was coming out to help out Taichi. However, what we saw, he spit whiskey into the face of Taichi, resulting of Sho to apply the shock arrow, but it later revealed that of course Kanemaru is the newest member of the House of Torture, and Sho finally is the KOPW. Now we don't have to pretend. But the one thing that was sad is that Taichi, who felt betrayed by someone he considered was a friend. But Evil now believes, because of this turn of events, that he is now confident to believe he will walk away with the IWGP title once and for all, to prove a point that Sonata was unfit. But the obvious question to Sonata means every step they did to ensure to get what they want, but Sonata has to think of another way. But however, because of what happened, what does this mean for Taichi? What's it going to happen to him? Well, we'll find out soon enough. Now, our next championship match is the IWGP Tag Team titles. We know TMDK's Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols were the ones that pinned the tag champions. Now, obvious question does tell, will they be able to become brand new tag team champions? Obvious question to that, it did not do any well for them, because it was Yoshihashi who in fact was the one who picked up the win when he applied a crucifix, which is a huge disappointing loss for TMDK, but a great moment to show that of course Bishamon is in fact the current best tag team today. So we'll see who becomes the next challengers, but the obvious question is, what's next for Nichols and Haste? As I said before, Zack Sabre Jr. did pin 1/3 of the Never Openweight 6-man tag champions. I wouldn't be surprised if he teams up with Nichols and Haste to obtain those belts. That's something we could expect down the line, but we'll see. Now, this next match is a very interesting one. We have Shingo Takagi versus Great-O-Khan. Now, Great-O-Khan has played manipulative mind games towards Shingo, who's been seeing that he's saying, "Why are you with Lij? Things haven't been well with Lij since Sonata left." So he's trying to persuade them to join um, United Empire, but however he refused. So this is a battle of the strongest. But however, we have seen how Khan has now going down below where he normally is. I mean, he lost many championship matches. It's like is not the same strong, dangerous person he was. But it was Shingo who applied the last dragon onto um, Great Khan and picked up a nice win. Now, our next match is a number one contendership. Now, this is a match where who will be heading to Wrestle Kingdom. Now, keep in mind, in the G1, Tetsuya Naito was the one who picked up the win. He won the entirety of the tournament. However, Jeff Cobb feels, in his own perspective, hey, Naito, I beat you. I should be more deserving. So put your number one contendership on the line. So basically, Cobb has always been like that. Naito and him have gone back and forth before. However, Naito knows this is his last chance to go to headline Wrestle Kingdom. The last time he went there, it was spoiled by that moron Kenta. But Naito wants to ensure he gets this one right. However, Naito knows he's not facing no slouch. He knows he's not facing an enemy. He knows that it's far more difficult. But however, he was able to apply the Destino onto Jeff Cobb, knowing that he can actually pull it off. 1, 2, 3. He is heading straight to Wrestle Kingdom 18, I believe that's the one. But yes, we're excited for that. Now our main event is the IWGP US/UK title. We have Yota Tsuji, who in fact has been making a big name of himself since his return to Japan, and he pinned, of course, not too long ago, Will Ospreay for this belt. Now, Will Ospreay has always said that he is in another level, but however, this match will, of course, will put him to the test because Yota Tsuji has changed a lot since becoming a young lion and now becoming a strong, capable wrestler. I mean, look, he put Sonata into his limit. So the obvious thing is, will Yota Tsuji do the same thing? He kind of did, but in fact, it was Will Ospreay with the Stormbreaker that allowed him to win. So basically, he remained as one of the best in the world. But however, he has one more problem he has to face. As you know, when we head to Royal Quest, he will face a fellow British wrestler, and we're talking about one of the best technical wrestlers in the world, Zack Sabre Jr. So he will be facing Will for his belt. So we'll see what that. He probably can become double champion if that's the case. But we'll find out when we get there. And I think that's pretty much it what we have for New Japan. I believe it's time to move on to do our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, welcome to our news update. So this is what we have for you so far. You may have heard the interesting news. Now, I did not see the entirety of the show. I did not see the full show, but it was announced later by the Japanese promotion DDT Pro Wrestling that, of course, Chris Jericho returns to Japan, and he will be heading to the Sumo Ryogoku, the Tokyo Ryogoku Sumo Hall to take on none other than the so-called Alpha Konosuke Takeshita. So that's going to be an interesting. This match will take place in November. So we're looking forward to that. And this is part of the, forgot what show they call this one. But yes, so far as I know Jericho has wrestled in Japan before. But I don't know how many Japanese promotions he's ever been in. But we'll see about that. Yeah, so I can't wait to see this one. Now, as you all know, on one of the previous news updates on one of the recent episodes that I created, as you know, Eddie Kingston made a very interesting decision, but more, I have to say, it's the right one. As you know, he is the current ROH and New Japan Strong Openweight champion. So he said that as long as he's still champion for both of these companies, he decided that he will be stop doing independent promotions for a while, as long as he's still the champion. However, one of the promotions kind of took in, because apparently this one is from Illinois promotion, Warrior Wrestling. They made a very interesting tweet. For those who are asking, we have reached out to Eddie and AEW. We'll keep you posted when we have an official word. Now, keep in mind, what many promotions like this, when they have wrestlers from AEW, sometimes is beyond their hands. They cannot control. So I'm sure that Warrior Wrestling would like to do something where negotiate maybe a possibility. Now, I understand Eddie's point of view that yes, he has two belts that are from two prestigious companies. But however, how will this affect the independent promotions? I'm sure that they have no hard feelings towards Eddie, but I know that Eddie does have a match set up to face against Brian Keith, the bounty hunter. We'll see what happens until then. I'm sure they're trying to negotiate a deal with that to ensure to let this match happen. But we'll see. Now, Spark Joshi Puroresu of America has announced for the Rising Heat East on the 14th of October. Another match has been announced. We have Miyu Watanabe from Tokyo Pro Wrestling taking on Kylan King. That's going to be a good one, I have to say. I can't wait to see if Miyu Watanabe can pull off the giant swing. That's something I could definitely expect. Now, this was a very interesting one. It was released by Wrestling Observer. If you guys saw what happened on AEW Rampage with Hijo del Vikingo, he seems like he was hurt. So it was revealed that he was injured. This was something that he has been keeping an eye out for a while. So he's continuing to wrestle even if he has injury like this. But he will have a speedy recovery. So we'll see when he gets back. I know that Conan has talked about Vikingo in the past, about him doing crazy stuff, that he needs to take it easy. But, this is beyond his control. But we'll see what happens until then. I think that's pretty much it for now. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do. The reason behind that is Tuesday I do go back to work, work back in the morning. So I'm going to try to keep the next episode maybe up to 2 reviews at the moment. I was considering reviewing the much recent shows from All Japan and Pro Wrestling Noah. I still yet to see the GCW stuff, but I'll probably do that on Wednesday. We'll see about how that progresses from here on out. So just let's just wing it for certain moments from here on out, okay? So, but for now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day.